Cool. Anyway, how you doing, Matt? You want to know if you want to know some funny things?
Sure.
Um, First funny thing is I did a cool video for TikTok at Guitar Center today, and I went ahead and loaded it up, and I forgot the fact that by default TikTok plays random music behind whatever you record, and I forgot to shut that off. So I have me shredding and doing a great job, but there's this crappy generic rap music or whatever's
Yeah,
popular.
you gotta be careful when you submit.
I know, and I didn't, and I wasn't, but I went with the flow, and instead of deleting it and getting all butthurt, I just even posted it on YouTube. But I won't do it again. I won't make that mistake again. But since I already did it, I just went with it. But that's funny, isn't that funny?
Yeah.
If I were like perfectly technically correct in the IT world, I would never have made that mistake. But I have to make that mistake before I know not to make that mistake because I'm just stupid in some ways. And the next funny thing, you want another funny thing?
Sure.
I met a super fan today. His name was Richard, and he talks to me all the time. His wife loves me, the whole deal. And so he and I just did a video how I accepted that I'm beautiful. It took me 57 years to get there, and I did, but whatever. And so I'm talking to this super fan, Richard, and he actually mentions that I'm very attractive and without me asking, he says I look like I'm 38, and that's a good compliment. So that's not the funny part yet, though. The funny part is I come home, HOME home, and my wife, I tell her about the what that someone asked me my age. I mean, someone said what I look like, how old they thought I was, and I somehow I asked Dal, how old do you think they said? And you know what Dal said?
What?
My wife said 51. I said, yeah, whatever. And what's funny with that is that Dal's sister Laura, the one you have met,
Yeah.
she's born in 1960, so she's like 6 years older than me. So she's like 64, something like that. I won't do the total math, but anyway, yeah, she's 64. Get this black dude, not that that matters, accosted me, one of my haters, with Laura and me there at Winco a couple days ago. And guess what? The first thing the guy asked Laura,
Yeah.
Al's sister, he asked Laura, "Is this your son?" So super fans and haters think better of my looks than my wife. The super fan thought I looked 38. The hater dude that had no reason to compliment me asked Dal's sister Laura, who's 6 years older than me, if I were her son. But my wife, the great Dal, thinks I look 51. I got butthurt for a minute, and then I let it go. I don't care. But I've got butthurt for a minute. You know what I told her?
Yeah.
I said, if you find a black, no, sorry, mixing stories there. You find a 61-year-old dude with hair like mine, and I will give you $100. I'll do what I can. I'll get it to you. Uh, or whatever. I mean, I was butthurt, so forgive my butthurtness. And then I realized, you know what, Dal, I get that you're not a fan. You haven't been for a long time. I get that. I'm just gonna drop it. I'm not even gonna go on about it. I'm not gonna definitely not gonna say what. You know what I mean, right? I'm not gonna
Oh,
go. I'm not gonna continue the cycle. So I just dropped it and just got a good laugh out of it.
oh, you
So
want
that,
to hear? Well, that's right. I don't know if you can hear it well, but I was going to maybe I throw on the guitar piece
yeah, why not? I'm gonna
and
go.
see
Yeah,
what you can. Here's the rat pedal here. I'll show you the
yeah. The
schematics to it.
Raderator. The Raderator.
I don't know if you can see it. Can you see that at all?
Yeah, I see the schematic. It looks like
Yeah.
a schematic for the
Yeah.
Raderator.
These are the high pass cut boost filters. I've got to tie it into switches,
Uh huh.
little switch. And anyways, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's going to be kind of a die roll, so whether it works or not. But it's good
What roll?
exercise. we'll get it figured out. Anyways, let me launch Reaper here, and
Oh
I
yeah,
threw
so we can
together this.
record.
I, no, well, I just listened to it.
Okay, yeah, because I can't. Yeah.
Listen to what I threw in kind of a loop.
Uh, oh, hi everybody. The Matter and I are live. I didn't mean to ignore you guys. I was just talking to him like we were just chatting. Well, that is a sign that we have good chemistry and everything. But I forgot to say hi to you guys. Good thing. Good to see you. We're live. Okay, go ahead, Matterator.
All right. Let me see if I can. Hold on.
Oh, I want to make one more comment, but do this first.
Yeah. Well, go ahead while I do it.
Yeah. Well, I want to make another comment. Um, uh, I did a video today. Matter got through my head that I've got a narrative to control, and I need to stand up when some people accuse me of something that isn't true. It's not enough, to just say, well, I know it's not true. I'm just doing me. It doesn't answer the question, and it also doesn't defend myself or look like I'm being. It almost looks like I'm agreeing with it, and I'm not, whatever, but I'm really not. I just know better. But I get the gist of it. So I did a video today defending myself against haters, and what that's not exactly what I want to say. Only um, I got a comment from a guy that I really appreciate, and I hardly even look at comments anymore. And when I do, it's usually just a couple at a time because if they're negative, I don't want to go south. But this one was definitely positive, and I commented. I don't remember the name of the guy. Oh, I'd have to think about it. I something. Oh, I didn't even try to remember it. Something about
Yeah, I saw the comments. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
you have
There's
a
gotta
lot
be,
of, like I said, you have a lot of people that don't comment.
yeah. And this
And
guy
then
was
there's unfortunately a lot of people, especially if you've been online at any point in time, you get a bunch of haters. You get people that pick on you.
yeah, yeah. And but the guy that commented nicely said that he gave me actually a long comment. Was it called Forever Young 44? I remember the number
Yeah.
44, something like that. I wasn't trying to remember, but something that rings a bell. He said, uh, I get it, basically, he 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 basically was going with the hate flow, and he has a gut feeling I'm calling it like I see it, and yeah, I dress like I do, and I play guitar like I do, but does that really mean I should be hated for it? And so he kind of recanted the hate l- line, and I appreciate that. So I actually liked it, loved it, and said thank you. You know,
Yes, to see if you can hear this. This is so what
yeah.
I did is I took some of your guitar loops and
Uh-huh.
I put them together, right?
Uh-huh.
And I sent it to you. I'm not sure if you can hear it better here or not, but just listen to it.
Okay.
So I'll play it again here.
All I heard was a couple squeals and a few crunches. I couldn't really hear it.
All right, let me try and bring it up, and I'll probably bring. Let me try and bring up an actual um, item here.
Okay.
Yeah, the speakers on this laptop just suck.
Right.
I wish they were better, but
Yeah.
I'll try and bring the phone a little closer. You
Okay.
ready?
Yeah.
All right. Can you see that?
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see it. I can't tell what it sounds like from that, but yeah, I see it. Yeah, it sounds good. I hear a little bit of that time.
Hey, what I can do is let me EQ it a little bit. Hold on.
Okay.
I'm going to go into FX. Let me add EQ to it.
Okay.
And I'll give it a boost in the lower end range.
Okay.
See if we can make it sound a little thicker.
Okay.
All right, hold on. Let me raise this up a little bit. There you go.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right, one more time here with the mud free. Hold on.
Okay.
But you see how I took the rhythm?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, let me explain to everybody. I can explain some of that too.
Hold on just real quick, though. I want to show something. So what I did is
Okay.
I put the rhythm part, I extended a little longer,
Uh-huh.
right?
Yeah.
And then there's key changes in the rhythm. So it's a rhythm that kind of, you can hear it. The rhythm goes like this, and you can see where the marks are there. Watch.
No,
Listen.
but I know that.
Watch this. Now there's a key change.
Uh-huh.
There's a key change right here.
Uh-huh.
Now listen,
Yeah.
watch.
Okay.
That's the solo
Uh-huh.
extended. And then it goes back into it, right? Key change, key change.
Yeah.
So I love that. So that's a mix. So that's basically what I was able to mix together, right?
Yeah.
And and
That's cool.
and so if you can do something along that where it kind of, I like that that kind of, it has kind of a I don't know, like a groove to it, that like it has a kwonk to it, like a kwonk kwonk, you know what I mean,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
on the on the rhythm. And so
Right.
it has kind of this loose, kind of nasty sound to it.
Uh-huh.
And
Uh-huh.
then you naturally flow into the lead, and then with extended. Now, what I did do with this is I, yeah, I mean, you basically had it an extended uh, lead part, but I think it's good. I think it's kind of appropriate. So I think that would really go well with the song. That right there is
Yeah.
30 seconds. You know,
Right. It's something like something like this. It's kind of like let's see.
the power chord. Remember, they're power chords.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Let me see if I can get my amp to sound here. Let's, let's see if it sometimes. Wait, let me see.
Go.
Something like that. It just sounded like that to me. But I could learn it literally too. But um, but usually I like to play what I feel at the time also. But yeah, that's basically it's got some trust. I got like a quick lead. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. I would stay a little longer, like do 3 bars on the rhythm section to really kind of get into it and
Yeah.
get like a real kind of chunky swinging like nasty porn groove to it, you know? No, more like a squawking.
It's gonna be different every
Yeah,
time.
exactly. I mean, that sounds really good because there's this drive to it. It kind of has like
Yeah.
you get a good drive going to it, right?
Yeah.
And then without skipping a beat, you kind of go into lead, let it
Yeah.
howl, get some howling out of it, then go back into that
Yeah.
rhythm part.
Yeah.
And the
Well,
rhythm
I
part
can.
sounds good with it. You do like a couple bars of one chord, and then you do a little bit of a chord change,
Yeah.
into a different note, and then do the rhythm again, and then you go into a lead, and then you know what I mean.
Yeah.
If you can do
Yeah.
one change in there, that kind of adds a little variance to it too.
Yeah. Well, the thing about me is that I actually am teachable, and I'm basically, um, if you let me know one way or the other, whether it takes a long time or little time, what you want, and I basically can if I get it through my head, I can actually do that. So like you're teaching me how you think it sounds good, and so I can kind of do that.
Biz just
I'm not
said,
I'm not like
are you mixing using laptop speakers? No, of course not. But I'm too lazy to go over to my and hook up my laptop, the whole sound system, just to
yeah,
play it
really,
through some stupid fucking cell phone microphone. That doesn't make sense. So I'm not
yeah,
moving to go to my sound system to do that.
yeah,
So no,
yeah.
fuck no.
Yeah. I wanted to um I'd like to update about my playing a little bit. Um m- it, it everything's getting smoother for me, and I'm learning, and it's getting me easier. Like for instance, case in point, my sweeping. Up until like recently, maybe even today, I'd have to think hard to do something like this. And have to go, I'm in that key and concentrate. But I know it's getting smoother when I can just kind of go seamlessly from one sweep to another. I can just if I can just do it like where it's effortless and I don't even have to think
Well,
about it.
yeah, you're effortless. You don't have to worry about that. Like I said, you have the high highs. What we have to
No, no,
do is
I do have to worry about it though, because it's part of what I do, and I like to get better and all that. But at the same time, I also want to make the music good too. And I'm not saying that all the music's going to be that way, but when I go to play my thing, it matters to me if I make progress. I'm not on my high
Yeah, I would concentrate more on the rhythm. I'm not worried about your lead
Well, I
stuff.
know from your point of
Yeah.
view, it's all that you don't even care if I can shred, but I do because I'm me and I care about shredding. And that's going to one day, hopefully soon,
I
affect
get
your
it.
music.
Tell me
Yeah.
something I don't know. Like I know that.
Well, that's kind of sarcastic, don't you think? What you just said. Tell me
Well,
something I don't
no, but
know.
what I'm saying is like the rhythm
Well,
part. I think you're.
you just said that you don't care, basically, that I'm making progress in my shredding, which I care about. Sorry,
Yeah, but I think
but
it makes more sense to concentrate on the rhythm part
well, how do
because
you know
you
I
don't
don't?
understand
How do you know I don't do that
the
too? And how do you
because
know?
the if you don't establish timing, the lead's not going to make any
No,
sense.
so you think that you think because I'm not playing rhythm right now that I can't do rhythm or I'm not working
It
on it, and if I
No, it
shred,
doesn't. If you don't anchor, if you do not anchor the
yeah.
lead with a rhythm, it
Yeah,
doesn't
I
sound
know
as
when
good.
I know when there's times I can anchor it, and just because I'm not anchoring it right now doesn't mean I can't do that, and doesn't
If you
mean the
don't
rest of
anchor it, it sounds like a communication. You know what NRTZ is? It's a communication
Nope, I think
called
you're gonna tell me. Go ahead, do your
it's
thing.
called no return to zero. Okay,
Mhm,
we use
mhm,
it in communications, and
mhm.
literally, it's a digital wave that just goes up and it never returns.
So basically, your way of getting me to play like you want is to double down and insult me and make me feel like I'm doing bad or
I'm
don't
not
care.
insulting you. I'm telling you facts. If that insults you, that's
You're
not
telling
my
me
problem.
taxes can be insulting. I didn't know
So
that.
it's not meant to be. So
Okay, fair enough.
I showed you the part there where
Well,
having
that's
that really
that
kind
part you just showed me. That part you just showed me I could do in my fucking sleep.
exactly.
Okay,
But
but that does not mean that's the
don't.
only thing I get to work
What
on
I'd
as a
like you to do is
musician.
do
It's not
this
the
next
only thing
one.
that matters. What
Yeah,
I
do this
do.
next one. Try this next rhythm piece. Prove me wrong. Do this
Oh
next rhythm
yeah,
piece
now I'm on the
a
ropes, right?
little
You got me
trashier.
backed up and prove me, Jimmy,
Do it
right?
a little. Look. Do it a little trashier, a little squawkier,
Hmm.
and then
Do
go in
what?
your lead.
What? Do
Try it.
what?
Do a
For
rhythm
what?
part that's a little squawkier, a
What
little
that rhythm
trashier. Don't be in a rush.
with what I'm doing or what you just
Let it kind of unfold, and then go in your lead. See how powerful it is. Let's check it out. Go ahead.
okay, okay.
Try
Well,
it.
um, let me think. Okay, fair enough. Something like that. Okay. I put a
Yeah,
rhythm
no,
to it.
that sounds really good. And what you may want to do is start the lead on the last chord of the rhythm. Just start it there and then work your way down and back up again, then go back in the rhythm again. Try that out.
Okay, I'll try that. Something like that, right?
Yeah, yeah. And then add in at least it, and don't be in a rush to do it. Add in two nice squeals of the whammy bar. Yeah, that's awesome, dude.
Yeah,
That's what sounds fucking killer.
yeah. Thank you.
Yeah,
I
I think that's the method right there. Now you can build in some real groove into that with some lyrics and shit. That's gonna fucking rock.
yeah. Okay.
You know what
I
I'm
get.
saying? I think the squealing sounds better after the little lead.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what I mean? But
I'll keep that in
don't be in
mind.
a
I'll keep
rush.
that.
Don't be in too much of a rush to get out of the rhythm. Like establish that rhythm, anchor it real good, and then
Yeah.
just blast in that fucking lead like an explosion
Yeah.
and squeal. Try it
Okay.
again. So just be
All
real
right.
cool,
I'll
be
try it
real
again.
chill on the rhythm, right? Get the
Yeah.
rhythm going.
All right.
It's almost like they're two beats the same. Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah, it sounds good, man.
Yeah. Well, okay. Uh, food for
You, you,
thought.
yeah, I mean, well, you can do all different variations of that, all
Yeah.
different variations,
Well, there's all kinds of different things I could have done. There's other ways, there's other keys to be in and other things.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I could go like this too. I could go along that line. Just humor me maybe. Let me just try this. It's a little different. I'll try 3, 4 times. Like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I get. I guess. I need to work. Rhythm is important, and also making it in a musical context is important. But there's also times when I just go off and work on my chops. I mean, that's a word I've hardly ever used in my life, but they call it chops, where
Yeah,
you
just
have your chops.
what makes it more powerful though, what makes your
Yeah,
lead more
well,
powerful is the setup.
yeah,
You
well,
can't just
yeah.
do the hat
There's
trick.
that, but that doesn't
Yeah.
invalidate everything else. It does.
I'm
There's a
not
time
saying
when
that.
I know. Well, I'm not saying it either.
Yeah, I'm
There's
not saying that.
there's beauty in this kind of playing too. May I do a different kind of playing?
Yeah, go ahead.
This is also a sound that I think is important in rock. I'm gonna play before I just go play. I'm gonna play what I think is a combination of Eddie Van Halen's Eruption tapping part with Jason Becker's tapping in a song that he does on his Perpetual Born album called Altitudes. And I created this, but it's a combination of Eddie and Jason Becker. So I don't really
Right.
get the credit, but I thought of this. And this is a different kind of playing. Sorry, take two. Now, granted, that's not crunchy rhythm with a drummable backbeat and all kinds of schooling harmonics, and there's no one formula that I'm gonna stick with for the end of time. I'm just not gonna do it. I'm not that way. And there's a time when that kind of playing is valid. When people just want to sit back with their lighter in the air and go Eddie, Eddie, and his jamming. Well, I'm sorry if the rhythm guys like you are sitting back there yawning, but I like that sound too. And not only that, I like the shredding sound, whether it's rubato, which means no real rhythm background, or rhythmic. But that doesn't mean that your part isn't right. It doesn't mean that playing with crunchy rhythm
Well,
and
I
all
mean,
that is,
it's just a part of storytelling, right?
yeah. And
Everything's a story. There's a reason why songs are like 5 minutes because that's how long stories lasted
yeah,
around
yeah,
campfires.
yeah,
But
yeah.
like a horror, okay, I'll give you an example. Ready?
Ready.
Um, a, a horror movie. If you don't care about the characters in the horror movie, you're not going to care whether it's not really going to be scary. So if you look at like a good book like It from Stephen King or what have you, he does a lot of character development. And there, when the scary parts happen, they're a lot more scarier because you actually care about what's going on.
Yeah, and that
And
doesn't
what
mean
I'm
that.
saying about a timing
Yeah,
piece, a
no, you got to
timing
say
piece
that
in
the
a
timing tuner makes people care about the shredding and it gives it context. But you know what? There's a time when
exactly. There we go. There we
but
go.
I want
Now,
to shred sometimes. You're gonna stop me, put a gun to my head, and tell me I can never shred again. You want to do that? I'll just
you
let you
already
shoot
do
me.
that. Yeah, but you already do that. I'm telling you something a little
So, well,
different.
I can get better at it, and I like to do it to keep my chops up. I don't see a problem with that.
Did
I can
I
just
say did I say don't do it?
not in those words.
Well,
No, so
no, I didn't say
no,
don't do
you're
it.
off the hook. You win. You win the argument. You never said that, and I'm just the asshole here. Okay, fair enough.
No, I'm just saying set up the hat trick. That's all.
Well,
Set it up.
not all the time. Sometimes I'm just gonna shred. It's just part of me, dude. You're not. You,
Oh, I get it. I get it.
well,
But if,
yeah, you
if you're
should
gonna do a
get it, and
song, you
you shouldn't
yeah.
put me in a corner and say now against the ropes and whatever. You said when
Yeah,
we
but
first started.
look at Wild, look at Black Boy Blues,
That
all
doesn't
that
mean I'm
stuff.
never gonna shred, dude. I'm gonna still shred. In fact, the reason I can do Black Web Bliss and things like
Did
that is
those
because I
songs
know
have shredding? Did those songs have shredding in it?
not really, not in the
Yes, they
context I'm
did.
talking about, not in just the shredding for shredding's
Oh,
sake.
so you want to shred for 5 minutes straight? Good luck with that. Selling that album. Good
Oh,
luck
good
with
luck.
that.
Okay, so you're putting me down and making fun of me.
No, it's not. No one's going
Yeah,
to
yeah,
listen to
it is. You
shredding
say
for
good
five
luck with
straight
that.
minutes.
That's like putting me down and also kind of making fun of me. Like, oh yeah,
No,
good.
it's no one's going to do it. No one's going to want to watch shredding for 5 minutes straight. No one. Zero.
Okay,
Zero
well, I think you're
humanity and
wrong. I think you're
yeah.
wrong, Matt Raider.
No, I don't think so.
Okay, you what? Because you can't be wrong because you're you.
No, do it for like you can do it for like 30 seconds, maybe.
Dude. Yeah, maybe, but you know what? I'm
But you
gonna
got to
still
take
do me.
breaks in between.
Yeah, well, you know what, dude? I'm still gonna do me, just like you do you. And the way you put me down when it doesn't follow your script, guess
I'm
what that
not
does?
putting you down. I don't know where you're
You just
getting that.
said, "Yeah, see how that works for you, or see how that goes." That's putting me down, or is it
Well,
not?
it isn't,
You trying to be a building. You trying to be a building by that. When we,
dude.
yeah, you're
Dude,
dude too. So even, we're even. You're dude. Okay, now what?
dude, you're
Yeah, I
getting
know
up
you're so
there,
smart. You're just you. Okay, fine. Maybe you are. Do
dude.
you?
I'm
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 going to
literally
shred
sitting
sometimes.
back. I'm really sitting back. You're insulting, and I'm literally building a pedal for you.
Yeah, I know, and I'm glad you are. I appreciate
Okay,
that.
and
But
and and then I have something to say, and you're completely discounting it.
dude, just because you talk
What you did earlier with the rhythm and all that, you can work with all of that. You can do whatever you want,
yeah,
but it sounds good. It has
yeah, well,
shredding in it.
you know,
It,
yeah,
it has shredding in it. It has everything. It has
yeah,
everything. It's
yeah,
complete.
yeah, okay, yeah.
It has everything.
Yeah, well, it doesn't mean I don't get to work on my shredding or that I won't. And even if nobody listens to
Was
it,
there
that's
not
great. It'd be
shredding
great.
within that? Tell
No,
me
I
there was
no,
not shredding
there's
within it.
times when I'm gonna work on rubato shredding for a period of time to work on my chops, and even if
I get it.
nobody,
You do that. That's
you know
you're
what?
known for.
I know. Well, I'm gonna do it. Sorry, and you've put me down many ways about this tonight.
I
And
didn't put you
it's on
down.
film, and I think people can sense that. You talk in a calm manner, but that does not mean your words aren't cutting and insulting. Just because I may get maybe because I'm
Okay.
louder and
Well,
got to talk, you know what? It's not just that you have a calm voice, and that doesn't make everything you say positive and and just good because you don't yell. That's just your style. But if you listen to what you say and how you phrase it and what
okay.
your insinuation is, you put me down many times tonight. So whatever.
Okay.
Well, oh, I can't be right because anything against the Matterator is just shit. Okay.
Switch.
Anyway,
Okay.
yeah, there's a point to what you're saying, but you. It sounds to me sometimes like you want to change the stripes on the tiger, which you said you weren't going to do, which originally helped in our music. And also it reminds me of the phrase throwing the baby out with the bathwater. But I understand the rhythm thing is cool. And I'm not saying I won't do almost all of that on stage and almost very little of my shredding. But that does not mean I'm not going to shred or that it has no value or it has no you're not a really you are not a huge guitar fan, Moderator. So and when you say absolutes, like nobody's going to want to hear that zero. First of all, you sound totalitarian. Second of all, you're probably not right because very little in this world and universe is true to that extent. Nobody zero is going to want to hear that. First of all, that's like I said, that sounds very overlording, and it might not be true because think if I say nobody, uh, just finish that sentence and try to really make it true. Nobody zero anything. It doesn't work that way. There's always an outlier. And not only that, I'm not doing it just for that. I'm not
All
doing
right.
it
Well,
just
we can settle it scientifically. Put a poll up on your community site and ask them, would you like a song
dude,
that
you
shreds
know
for
what? You
five
know
minutes
what? You know
straight?
what? You know what? I'm
Would you
not even
like
gonna. I'm
that?
not gonna. I'm not gonna do that because your statement right there sounds challenging and threatening and ego cockfesting, and I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna humor that. Oh, sure, Matter, I'll fall for that. And then when you win, or if you do, then you
Well,
get to.
no, it's just feedback. That's all. You're either accepting of it or you're not.
I don't accept your attitude about it. If you're going to come at me with that attitude, like it's going to be cockmanship between you and me, which I'm not afraid of, by the way, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to entertain that spirit. Even if you're right and you win, like hands down, landslide. What now? That proves that you're right, and with and I let it happen because it's not the right spirit. You're coming at me with it. I don't care if you're right or not. I don't even care if I'm right. When you come at me threatening like that, and with
I think this time of night you just totally take things wrong. In the morning, it's different. You know.
well, maybe so. Maybe so.
Right.
You,
Anyways, I'm trying to figure this circuit out here.
yeah. Well, you know what? People watching it Matt. Yeah, I almost never hear you. Almost never. See, I can don't say never, but I very rarely hear you say anything to the fact that you're wrong, Moderator. You're just always right. And maybe that's right with most of the people you walk around, but I'm shirtless guy. I don't appreciate that attitude.
Well,
You
I
know.
mean, even this
Yeah, I
pedal,
know. Well,
I
I mean,
I
condescending.
mean, even this
Even
pedal, I
condescending.
said literally during this conversation, just to bring it up, I said, I got to figure this thing out. I don't even know if it's going to work. Right? I don't know. I have to look at it. If that doesn't sound like
I
someone
don't think
that's
I
so
don't think I
sure.
think that I think questioning yourself is good, but I
Yeah.
don't hear I never I almost never hear you acquiesce to another person being right in your place. I almost never in our whole friendship of 3 years or so heard you say, "Jimmy, I'm sorry I was wrong," or "Jimmy, you were right." You rarely do that, the Matterator. Now
Yeah, I
questioning
do. I do
yourself,
that.
yes,
I do that. I
everybody
do that plenty. I do that plenty. When we go to set up, for instance, I'm like, "Hey, I'm sorry about this technical difficulties I'm having.
yeah,
It's rough, and we just got to work
yeah,
through it."
well,
So
you
I'll say
have done
things
it.
like that, and so by no means does it go smoothly. Other times you see me where I'm frustrated. I'm working through a technical problem, right?
Yeah.
And and then of course I like I said I serve. I
Well
bring you
well,
coffee. I do all that stuff.
yeah.
I
Well,
try and make
yeah,
it
you're
comfortable.
helpful to me. Yes, you're my friend and you're helpful to me, and I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But I
So
rarely I rarely you you know what?
when I helped you string up your guitar, did I do it wrong or something? Am I wrong
No,
there or
as
something?
long as you're doing everything right,
Do I have to
you're
tell you
correct,
something that I
everything
did
goes
wrong?
smoothly. You showed me that something you can do that you can't that I can't do, but do I don't I in turn don't go on my channel very much and show me spinning frisbees and say, "Hey, Matter, I bet you can't do this." I don't do that. I don't wish to be right over your at your sake, Matt. But I see that
That's
I've
yeah.
seen more of that from your end. That is, if you're right about the shred thing, you just double down on me and use
Well,
condens.
because I like look, I like the
Yeah,
shred.
yeah,
Okay, I
yeah.
like it.
Well, then you need to come
Why do
off
you
a
think?
little easier about it, not be condescending or
Why do you think half the songs that were produced have the shred in it? There's not one song we haven't put out that doesn't have the shred in it.
well.
So why don't you start
It,
shredding, dude, so we
it
can. Yeah.
points to that being well. I hope that's genuine on your part because it makes me doubt that sometimes when you come at me with against the shred thing, and I
Well,
hope you
you know what? We'll have to get to
I know,
Monday.
that could be me taking it wrong, but if I'm just saying, okay, and that word "just" is funny because usually means something really not just is going to be said after that. But I just think that maybe if you were nicer to me about the shred thing, that's a better way to handle me. Is all I'm saying. I mean, yeah, double down at me, say, threaten to put a poll up, or tell me to put a poll up. Say how that. Let's see how that works for you. Yeah, and you might even have a point. You might have all the cards on your side, but that just doesn't fucking.
I didn't
I already had a
say.
dad.
Yeah.
I already had a dad do that to me, and it
Yeah.
didn't even.
Well, I'm not
I
your
know you're not
dad.
your dad, but you
Yeah.
doesn't mean you're not my dad, but doesn't mean you are not. That you
Well,
know
look.
Yeah, okay. You're not my dad.
Yeah.
Nobody's my dad, but that doesn't mean that doesn't mean I haven't been through some stuff. And that doesn't mean that you can act a lot like him at times. And it doesn't produce and the reaction is
Well,
I know it works for you I would I would even be more impressed with you and your intelligence and your emotional management and all that if you just said, "Yeah, maybe that sounds great, Jimmy. I mean, I like that. Good job in working on your chops. Now let's try this." But you don't do that. You go, "Well, that's not valuable. Now do what I want." I mean, you're not my dad, okay? But my dad did that stuff to me, and even that didn't change. Didn't he? I didn't even do it then. Okay. Yeah, I got hit for it, but I didn't. I was. I basically spat in his eye figuratively every time. Because he was going at it wrong. You want to threaten to hit me, then hit me, Jude. Well, you know what? I would just come back at him, not physically, of course, but I would come back at him with my language, my mouth, my attitude, my actions, and he just hit me more, and he never broke me. And so when you come at me like my dad, I'm just going to do that. And I'm surprised almost you don't see that coming and not do that. You think a direct method
well,
like my dad's
I have an opinion. You're trying to brute force attack me right now to leave you alone, and
okay, okay, well,
I'm here to
whatever.
say that I will still have that opinion.
Yeah, I would just be more impressed if you didn't make absolutes like no one, zero is gonna like that, and oh, make a contest and see. Oh, and how's that gonna work for you, Jimmy? How's that going for you? How's it gonna go? You know what? That even if you're right, you're not on my side. At least I'm not on that issue. And how is not being on my side going to somehow convert me to your
Well,
side? It just
whatever.
isn't.
We're not always gonna agree on things. It doesn't mean
Okay.
that I'm
Well,
not gonna be
maybe this
I
is the
will
wrong venue to really do that.
I will champion that cause, and you will champion your cause, and we
Yeah,
don't
you
have
better
to get
believe it,
totally butthurt.
and all the more so since you challenged me, dude. You either want to egg me on, or you don't understand psychology.
Look,
Either you're trying to bait me, and you know this is going to happen, and you're that smart in that way, or you don't understand that you're just pushing me in the other direction. And when we're done here, I'm just going to go do a shred thing. Sorry. You
we'll
either
do a
you
shred
want
thing.
that,
Actually, people are
you're
asking for it.
debating
You have
me.
someone
You're
here.
debating.
Don't argue, guys. Let's shred. So start shredding, dude.
No, well, why? Because you say so now.
No, someone in the comments has said it.
Okay,
Read
thank
the
you.
comment.
Sorry, I do that stuff. What do you want from me? Anyway. I think the best outcome. John Nash, who was in a movie called The Beautiful Mind, played by Russell Crowe. I don't have that schizophrenia, but I have Asperger's, and I was very intelligent. And I think that John Nash's theory, was actually brilliant. I think he could be a good moderator for us right now. He had a bargaining theory. It was like his theory was, um, it's not what's best for the individual. Okay, whatever. I heard a bunch of noise. That's cool. I don't know what that noise is, Matterator.
That's my garage door going up and down.
Oh, just so you can drown me out, or is that
The
accidental?
wife was trying to park the Camry. Look, not everything has a
That's
nefarious
about me.
time
I
for you.
know. I
Just
get it.
saying.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Matterator. I didn't mean to insinuate that. I'm sorry. Okay. Anyway, his theory was that things aren't the best solution to something, and I'm acquiescing here too. It's not even the best solution to something is to do what's best for yourself and the group, and rather than let's both do what's best for ourselves and screw the group. And I agree with that from my side too. I need to do what's best for both of us and me, and you need to do what's best for you and us. And I'm sorry when I don't do that. Maybe I doubled down too much on the shredding myself, and to the neglect of what's good for me and you. But then again, I perceived you were doing the same thing, and I just repeated your
No,
behavior.
I love the shredding, and I'm trying to what I'm trying to do as your producer is go, here's how we can make it even more powerful.
Yeah,
Like I'm
well, that
trying to
that
make it like, for instance, I love the seventh chord, right? But as we're working with it, I'm listening to the mix, the headphones and stuff, and God, it just, you know, I'm looking as a producer, you're trying to get things rich and thick, and you're trying to get things, and sometimes things work, sometimes they don't. But you need the ability to kind of remove the ego from it, and then I come in and say, "Hey, this is what I think, Jim. What do you think about this?" And what I'll
right.
do is I'll throw together some conceptual things. That's why literally we had what 5 different versions so far we've done of this because we want to. I
Impression.
know both you and I want to do the best song we possibly can, you know?
Right, right. And I
And it gets
and we're both
frustrating
being
and,
we're we're both being patient, but with the crash and burn, I wish it were out, but then again, we also want it to be right. So I get that. I get
and I've put enough time off in this pedal to where I just need to start doing it, you know?
I know. And you mentioned seventh chords. Let me just have some comic relief. This is just comic relief. You mentioned the seventh chord. Um,
Yeah.
uh, I I don't know if I can explain this, but I have things that I can get my head around, not just intellectually, but like I get it. And I want to go over my musical discovery. When I was a kid, all I really got in my head was a power chord. That's all I really understood. And there's nothing wrong with that, but that's all I really could do. When I was like 18, that's all I could really work with. And then when I got to be maybe even not even that long ago, maybe a few years ago, I realized, oh yeah, there's major and minor triads from that. There's And so that was basically, and that has a lot more possibilities. It doesn't mean you want to forget power chords because there's always a place for the simple thing. There always is. That's why it's the first thing you learn. But then just the other day, I mean, literally this week, I got my head around the dominant seventh chord, which that adds even more tension. That's almost a jazz chord. But in my defense, or in defense of that idea, do you guys realize, and I mean that rhetorically because maybe you do, that Van Halen, Eddie, when he was with Sammy, I know it wasn't really the greatest Van Halen version, but he would start to do jazz chords with Van Halen. If you listen to Pound Cake, it's like maybe I'll turn the distortion down a little so you can hear that better. That actually became a little more of his sound than just the early of Van Halen. And that was as he was growing as a musician. And I noted that, and I thought that is so cool. He can do that. Like he would. I'll just go. I never learned this. I'm just gonna wing it. But like when he did Pound Cake, it was like I'm not Eddie, but I don't even know the song, but the vibe was like jazzy stuff. And I know that's not exactly what Eddie would played, but the gist of it was he was playing these ninth chords even, and he was like, no, and he was like, and then he'd throw in a harmonic in. It's like, yes, that sounded so good, and yet it was still Eddie, and it sounded great. He evolved into the guy from Poison, CC DeVille. Said in the late 80s, everybody rags on Eddie Van Halen for not shredding like he used to, but they don't realize what a great songwriter he's become. And that's what CC DeVille said. And I'm not advocating dropping the shred, even if he did that. But the way he progressed in his songwriting, it's like I see that happening to me. I'm not saying on his level, but I just figured out seventh chords the other day. That's why I can kind of do that. I get that sound. I mean, it's not the only thing that exists, and it's not perfect, maybe, but that dissonant but yet distorted in your face sound also has an attitude to it that the power chords don't have. But then again, it's give and take. It's not one thing only that I think makes great music. It's being able to do many things and doing different things. Like that sounded great, but then so did I'm not going to be happy if our music just dumbs down to only power chords all the time. I'm going to stop doing it because I'm going to know that something's missing and I'm going to itch for those seventh and ninth chords and I'm going to want those. So, but yet at the same time, I like the power chords too. So I think we need to learn together. It doesn't work to double down on me and say, well, Jimmy, power chords are good, seventh chords are bad. That's not going to work. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to say, well, then why, if you're telling me they're
Yeah, so
bad,
the seventh chords, they would sound good. When I
would sound good. So that implies they don't already, but go ahead.
here's the problem that I
There's
found
the
with them.
problem. Let's hear the answers, Matterator. Go ahead.
All
Tell
right,
me
no,
the
this
answers.
is what I theorized. Now you can correct me if I'm wrong. Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
So we talked about where when you play full chords in a seventh chord, of course, that's a half step below the octave, right?
No, that's not what I mean by seventh chord. But I mean a 4-note chord versus the 3-note or 2-note chord.
Yeah. So
No, that's not the same.
the reason why power chords sound kind of rich is it just takes more. We can do full chords,
We are going to
but
because we don't want to sound just like
I know
anyone.
that. But
I'm not just going to be a
here's,
fucking power chord player. I'm just not
are
going
you
to
going
be.
to let me
Okay,
talk here, or are you just going to talk
absolutely.
over me all the
Go
time?
ahead. Go ahead. I'll shut up.
Because I'm sure you'll agree with me. Okay,
Keep going.
100% sure you're going to agree
I'm
with
not
me.
going to do only one thing, but keep going. I'm not. But
All
go
right.
ahead.
Bottom line is, every time you add a string in and we press on it, there's a possibility that it either goes, that it goes a little sharp or a teeny bit out of tune. All right. And when we start doing multiple strings, then you you just add to the problem. So we can do it. It's just we got to be a lot pickier on how we tune and how we play it, because if there's one little thing off, what happens is that waveform starts canceling out the good waveforms, and it doesn't sound as good. So yes, we can do it,
We're going
but
to do
we
it.
have to be like really, really picky on like tuning, and like really super picky like
I
scientists
disagree.
on it.
I disagree. But I'm letting you talk. So say your thing.
And then the other thing too is when you play full chords too, when you start adding too much distortion in, then the distortion cancels in too. I run into that in production, where productions start getting muddy. Okay, they start getting muddy because there's so many competing frequencies. So the idea is, how do you make things? How can you express an idea and make it as clear as you can? So
Wrong.
I
Wrong.
have no problem with full chords as long as we can get them clear sounding, as long as we can
Okay.
get them sounding as good as they can. That's
And
all I'm
you're
saying.
okay. And what I'm saying is you're wrong, because I sometimes want to sound muddy. I don't want to sound perfect all the time, especially if that's just reductionist terms for just play power chords, because that's what really works. I'm not going to do that, dude. If the strings are a little out of tune, then maybe that's a sound I like. Maybe that's what the punk people did when they were doing their stuff. Maybe they weren't perfectly in tune, and neither am I. Well, that's who I am, and that's what I like. And I like variety, even if that's not all what I like. So yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do it just because it sounds good to me sometimes and because it's different than what I did last time. I'm not going to be a reductionist. I just play power chords. And I'm not even really going to do, but I have to also play in tune and be careful and step on eggshells. I'm just not that kind of person. And I like the music not always that way. I'll do it sometimes
Well,
that
okay,
way.
don't forget, when I start producing things, I have to have an opinion too.
You do.
I have to get into it because I got to feel the music. If I'm not allowed to feel the music also, then why am I producing it? Give it to someone else to produce.
Yeah, well, that's right. So I may lose you as a producer, and I'm willing to take that risk. I'm sorry if I do. I'm sorry, dude.
Yeah. So if you have a guy that just like is so enamored with just cloudy music or what have you, then there is probably a producer out there that likes that stuff.
Well, if you're gonna threaten
Me,
to
I
leave,
have an opinion on it.
yeah, and
I
I have an
want
opinion
things to
too.
be
I have an
clear.
opinion too, and I'm not
Yeah,
saying. So if you want to leave, go ahead. I,
I didn't
I
say that. I said that I
okay.
want to be clear.
Well, I
I
think
want
you
a
said
clear
when you say if
production.
I have a dude, you know I don't have another producer, so
Well, look,
that's
that's half the reason why I'm having a problem with Crash and Burn, because I go into it and I have the original version of the guitar sounds thick. You want to hear the original version of the guitar right
no.
now?
I don't want to hear it right now. I don't want to hear it
All right.
with your. No,
Well, I tried. Okay, it's not like I didn't try.
um, but you by trying, you made up your mind in the opposite direction and doubled down.
Dude,
It
I
sounds like.
tried. I'm like I was not. I
Yeah.
could I have pumped it out and just pumped it out? Yeah. Okay, but I don't like to do that. Would you do that? Would you do something substandard that you thought was substandard? Would you do that?
No, no, I guess
Yeah.
I
Well, I'm
wouldn't.
not going to. Don't ask me to do it either. Then.
So is that your way of saying you get to control what I play and
No,
better than
it's
out because you're
always a
about ready to leave me
collaboration.
because you say if I have another, I
Well,
don't have another producer to do it.
it's always a collaboration.
Yeah, you're
So
right. You're right.
either
And having said that, I just have my opinion too. If you want to shove my opinion to the fucking street, do it. But that's you, and I get it. Do you and whatever. But I'm telling you how I feel.
okay,
If that
okay.
matters to you,
Let's analyze. Let's dig a little deeper into this.
oh, why?
Okay,
Why? So you
let's
can be
take for
a
instance. Let's
writer?
take an example. Let's take one of our collaborations. Take empirical evidence. Number one.
I have a
Okay,
feeling you win this argument based on the talking. You're gonna win. Mm.
Black Boy Blues. The song
I heard
Black
it
Boy
the first.
Blues.
I heard it all three
I
times.
liked it.
Thank
I
you.
liked it. So you
Hmm.
put out the guitar piece. I loved the shredding part in the middle, right? It was
Yeah,
like a
sure.
great little rap
LOL.
song. You
Yeah,
came up with all that.
yeah.
I added the embellishments to it. It was great.
Hmm.
Great collaboration.
Hmm. And now you're gonna say you don't like, but we did that, so let's do this other thing, or
No, it
maybe
was
I don't
good.
know.
And that did, by the way, that had full chords in it, had the full Wiseman chord in there, right?
But you decided that we've already done that, so let's not do that anymore.
Well, I mean, we're not going to do, I mean, Black Boy Blues is
You
good.
know what, dude? How many?
Yeah,
How many? Did Van Halen reinvent the wheel every time they did a song? Really? I mean, once we do it, we're just done with that. Maybe I have a different opinion about that approach itself. I sometimes, maybe I have a style.
I get it. We both have to be turned on by it, though.
Yeah,
We both
yeah.
have.
I'm not, and telling me that some intellectual reason why seventh and ninth chords don't work. That's going to work with me. That's going to make me say,
We
yeah, you're
can
right.
make
I
them
better
work.
watch.
They got to be cleaner than they are. That's all.
Well, that's not what you just said. You said it as if you were saying that they. Well, maybe you did say that. I don't know. I'm going to play them though. They're part of guitar.
I get it.
I'm a novelist, not a reductionist. I don't believe in just reducing things to fundamentals and sticking to that. That's not my approach. I believe in trying new things and trying to be wild and just doing what I feel. I'm a novelist, not a reductionist. Look it up on Google to see what those words mean, and if anybody doesn't know what that means. Not reductionists use the accepted realities to come up with a solution to the exclusion of any outside evidence or answers. Novelists look outside the accepted norms and try to find a new solution to the problem. But who's to say which is right? I'm just a novelist. I'm not a reductionist. So, and then maybe you're not. Maybe you're a reductionist. You're not. I don't know. You sound like you're a reductionist, but then again, I can't label you because I'm
Well,
not you.
I'm not good
Yeah.
enough to. I'm not a good enough producer to wrap my head around. Like I don't have. First of all, I don't have all the time in the world to go in, and if I had a dynamic EQ and I spent like a fucking $1 million on it, and I'm able to go
So
in and fucking,
making the problem sound impossible makes me unreasonable, which
it's
negates my
hard.
ever
Like
argument.
I'm telling you right now, it's hard. If it, so yeah, in a way, it's easier for me to kind of wrap my head around it. Like I
Mm,
said, I'm being self-depreciating here. I hope you can, appreciate that.
a little bit.
Um, and and it's just easier sometimes to not muddy the mix if we can clearly kind of separate things. The guitar resides in
Well,
one area, the bass
it
kind of
wasn't
is in
just
the other
that.
area.
Yeah, that's fine, and thank you. But there's also the implication that once we do something like Black Boy Blues, we're just done with that sound. And I'm not, I'm not, I don't think that way about my music. Sorry. If I have a sound and a style, I'm gonna do it again. And if you
Yeah,
make
but
me,
how did you like the transition from Black Boy Blues to Kissing Death? That was
I
acceptable,
like it.
right?
I
There was
Yeah,
lots of shredding. There was lots of shredding in it. Lots of
yeah,
everything.
but yeah, okay, fine, whatever whatever that, if that's constructive, thank you for saying that. But I'm not gonna put myself in a corner where I can't do a song because I've already done that style or sound. I'm just not gonna do that. If people are tired of it, then they're tired of me and watch somebody else. Be my guest. But I have a style and a sound. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do similar things to what I did. I'm not gonna just go completely off the rails every time I do a new song. I'm not gonna do it. And if you're asking me to, I'm going to catch on that you're doing that, and I'm going to say, well, what about Black Boy Blues? That you don't like that? Well, then maybe you don't like me. Maybe you can find another guitarist. LOL. Like, if you have another guitarist that only likes power chords, and you can do your thing. Go ahead. I mean, I don't have another producer. I don't think you have another guitarist, but you want to say that to me, we can both say it to each other, and let's do our thing. I'll find another guitarist then. Find a guitarist that listens to everything you say and doesn't question you. Not me.
That's not how we've been working, by the
I
way.
know it isn't. And we have also haven't been working by you saying to me, well, if you have another producer, that'd be okay, try that. How's that gonna
Dude,
work?
this is like really your bewitching hour, isn't it? You're like just from one subject to another,
Well,
you know?
maybe is that so I have to be on one subject or I'm just crazy or
Yeah,
bad
you're
or
just
stupid.
I don't know. I don't know what's going on, but you're just in a mood right now. That's all. You're in a mood. I don't think
Doesn't
that's
make
anything
everything
to do with
being in a
anything.
mood doesn't make everything and absolutely everything I say wrong, bad, totally wrong. Doesn't make that true either. Yeah, I'm probably in a mood, but doesn't mean I'm not saying some things I feel, and it doesn't mean that because some of those feelings aren't valid. That's all I'm saying. Maybe I'm in a bewitching
It could be
hour.
your stomach talking. It could be whatever talking.
Yeah, it
But
could be,
it's yeah,
but doesn't make
yeah.
there's no truth to it. It's like an alcoholic, which I'm not. I'm not putting down those. In fact, I have a theory about that I just had today. Maybe I'll share it. Um, yeah, they say things that maybe they don't mean or aren't perfect, but that you don't. Who's to say that that alcohol doesn't let out some of their inner feelings that they just don't normally share? Doesn't make any.
I
Doesn't make.
get it, but we both have wives that get emotional, right?
I'm
And
not
then you
real.
don't know what's causing it. Like you literally don't, and they'll argue from
My
one
wife
thing
is
to the
not
next.
comparable to yours. My wife is not comparable to yours because I'm not related to her. I'm not having relations with her as a wife. So that's
But still, it's someone you have to get along with and all that, and there's
but still
negotiations
like
that have to
your
take
wife.
place.
But yeah, okay, fine.
But
Not the same
it's the
ball of
same
wax.
thing with my wife. There's constant like I can't seem to get anywhere because it's all emotional, you know.
Mhm.
So and I'm not that way.
Right. The thing I realized about alcohol today, since I'm talking about it, and I did enjoy this live. I'm glad to talk, glad to be live. Good to see everybody. And yeah, we got to share some of the things we feel, me and Matterator. But I want to say one thing before we go, maybe. Um,
Yeah.
I thought about it, and first of all, I don't even have a moral compass. I just believe in doing what you believe in my case, what I believe in, and not hurting other people. I don't have a moral compass. Okay, don't hurt anybody else. Do what you believe in and do it. Who cares if God gets pissed? He's going to send you to hell? Well, what if you already know that? Well, screw that. But for me personally, I thought about it, and I think drinking alcohol is acceptable when I have to. Meaning, if it's a uh, New Year's Eve party, or if it's reasonable as far as the amount, and it's expedient as far as the situation, it would be best for me to do it. I can handle doing a little alcohol. But at the same time, I draw the line there, and I do not believe in me doing any kind of drug. I won't do it. I just won't do drug. If Bill Gates, I mean, you could say, sure, Jimmy, but I just trust me or not. If Bill Gates came to my front door and said, I want to give you $1 billion, just do some cocaine, I just say, Okay, please leave my house. But I just will not do drugs. But alcohol is acceptable if the whole situation, if it betters the whole situation. I don't like drinking alcohol. I'm not doing it. I don't do it on my own free will. I don't like it. I don't think it's good for me, but I will go that far if it's necessary. But I will not do hard drugs. I will not do drugs. So that's all. I just had that thought. And at the same time, at least I know where I draw the line. At least I know that now. But I'm not going to pursue drinking. I just don't. In fact, you guys will know because I will be like my dad might be Jim Morrison, and so my dad might have been on drugs when I was conceived, which might mean that I've got a very low tolerance for that. I can drink like one sip. I just don't even go there. It's not good for me, but if I have to, I can do that. But anyway, Moderator, I appreciate I appreciate our candor with each other. We are honest with each other. We say what we feel, and we both have points. I think you have points, and I think I do too. In fact, sometimes I think you agree with me when I think you don't, and sometimes I think maybe I agree with you when you don't think I do. But um, just I think, and plus I do have a bewitching hour that's right about 7 or 8, so I'm not too far past. I might be in that. I don't know. I think that I don't know what causes my bewitching hour, but I don't. I something about going from day mode to night mode irks me because maybe because I like routine, maybe because I'm Aspie and but maybe I don't
Yeah, it's
like that.
definitely. I think it's definitely like a routine thing too. You know.
Yeah, I don't like the changes I go through going from day to night. I just don't. I just don't like that I have to do this and that just because it's a different time. It breaks the routine in both directions. But somehow in the morning, I've just gotten sleep, and so I'm more able to handle the change, and I'm less irked about it. But at night, when it gets to go to when it gets to start being night, I don't have the fresh sleep to help me cope with the fact that I'm switching modes, and I just get pissed. So for that part of this conversation that was negative, I apologize. Really, I don't mean to be in my bewitching hour. But that doesn't mean I'm not. Doesn't mean I. That also doesn't mean I mean to be in my bewitching hour. It just happens that way. I get my witching hour, and then I didn't. I don't bring it on myself, right? Like I don't go. Well, it's time to be the way I get. It just happens to me. So I don't. I have no ill will behind that. And if I come out a certain way because of my bewitching hour, I didn't really want to. I didn't try to bring that on. Anyway, but I do think some of the more spread out chords are actually cool. Like listen to this, you guys. This is uh, a chord that it's basically it's a revoicing of the Wiseman chord. It's not the Wiseman chord, but it's the same notes as the Wiseman chord has, and it sounds cool. It's like this. That sounds like a mess if you look at it one way, but if you look at it another way. Now, who's to say it's just a matter of perception to say that first chord that sounded nasty the way I did it can't be cool being nasty like that in a different context, like the second way I played it. I'm not saying there's absolute. I'm not saying that what I just played the second time was perfect and everybody should love it. But I just think there's a possible point to even something ugly can have its place, and you think, oh, that's why how about this chord? I'm going to call this. I'm very careful calling it this, but I'm going to call this the Alan Holdsworth chord. Okay, you guys ready for this? It's a long story how I even know some of this stuff, but I'm going to call this the Alan Holdsworth chord. So if you hear me do it, I will give him credit, and I will not call it my chord or just no chord at all. I will refer to it as the Alan Holdsworth chord. It's like this. Here we go. That's a mess, just sounding out of context. That sounds like I don't even know what notes I'm playing. But maybe play it like this. Go. Oh, that there. The context makes it almost sound cool. And so I don't. I may be wrong, but sometimes I think music things are more perception thing than they are just math. Because it depends on how you look at it, you know. And I'm not saying that I'm right about saying that even, but it seems to me the Allen Holdsworth chord can sound good. It just depends on how you use it and how you what you do with it. So I maybe I'm wrong about that, but that's just my feeling. The Allen Holdsworth chord. Who wants to hear that? It sounds like a mess. But if I play it, maybe I'll play it another way. Let's go like this with it. Let's go. That wasn't perfect, but it starts to give a context to that awful sounding Allen Holdsworth chord if you play it right, you know? Oh, that doesn't sound that bad. It had a context. But if I started with it just playing it, that sounds bad. But do something with it and make it cool. And that's what I like that Alan did. I'm not just that one chord. I'm calling that the Alan Holdsworth chord because I think that kind of that fits his legacy. But Eddie was doing that too. Eddie was doing a lot of that kind of ninth and seventh stuff, not especially even ninth stuff. I won't even say seventh, ninth. Before he died, he was doing that kind of thing. He was like all, you know, I don't know. I just think music is should be inclusive and let's keep an open mind. But that doesn't mean you're not doing that, Matterator. And maybe it's just my wishing hour. But I think that weird stuff and dissonant stuff just has a place. But that doesn't make you wrong about the clarity thing. Because everything you said theoretically and scientifically is right. You're right. If I have a note like this, I can literally change the pitch just by pressing up harder on the fret. Like I didn't even change the pitch, but I'm just going harder on the fret. And if you do that with chords, you can literally go out of tune, and that's a fact. But that doesn't mean I don't know how to manage that. It doesn't mean that won't sound cool if I do it a little bit wrong, like I just go.
No, I agree. Yeah.
I know. I don't want to argue with you. I'm sorry. I don't want to argue with you, and I don't want to. I think I've made my point. And I don't know. It doesn't always have to be like, because it can be. And but you have to hear it too and like it, or you're not going to produce it. I get it. So I like weird stuff. You know, at Harvard College, the 3 years I went to Harvard College, I literally played Alan Holdsworth licks almost every time I picked up a guitar. I was doing Alan Holdsworth licks, and I was doing stuff. I challenge Jimmy. If you think you have a good memory, play one of your old Alan Holdsworth licks. Well, it was a lot of stuff like this. It was like. Now, everybody in the world, I'm going to use an exaggeration. Everybody thought, almost everybody thought I was crazy, or that sounds really bad, or what the heck. But I'd have a dude once in a while, like the certain right person would hit him. Jimmy is the best guitarist at Harvard College. They got started because that nobody else was doing that, and somebody liked it. A couple people at Harvey Mudd, they actually liked that what I was playing. He would go faster than that too. He would go. It wouldn't always be fast. It'd be like. And the funny thing is, not funny like a joke, but funny, is that in time, people came around and realized he was the greatest guitarist that maybe ever lived. But but I was into him in the '80s when nobody thought that. And I'm just saying that who's to say that I'm not Alan Holdsworth, okay? But who's to say that our music, Matterator, might
Yeah.
have a similar effect on people? What today is the awful Wiseman chord. When we're gone and dead, might be like that was cool, and we won't be there to enjoy it. But we also don't know it won't happen, and I just don't want. I've seen it happen in my own lifetime. I've seen me go from the biggest Alan Holdsworth fan that he ever probably had at the time to then becoming great and recognized by everybody else, and then me meeting him twice and even having a one-on-one talk with him for 20 minutes the first time I met him. And then the second time I met him with a bunch of people around, and it was mainly me and him talking. And then he dies, and everybody realizes, oh yeah, we get it now. And I just don't want to cut out that heart in our music so that we
No, I
miss.
get it.
Yeah, you get it. You get it. And I'm sorry if I did bad on the Alan Holdsworth licks there. I don't know them. I don't remember. That was the joke. When I met him first the second time I met him was in 2003. It was at San Diego. My friend Marcia at the time, who took me on a crazy ride. She took me to Everett, Washington, and wouldn't let me out of the car. But before that, obviously, she took me to an Alan Holdsworth concert. And after the end of the concert, Alan and a bunch of people gathered around. I said to Alan, while everyone's listening, I go, "Hey, Alan, when I was a kid, I was your biggest fan. I knew all your licks, but then later I forgot them all." And then Alan said, "I forgot them all too." And everybody cracked up like that was like the perfect setup for him to make the joke. And later I said to another friend, a friend, I said, he took the punchline, and the friend said to me, "Well, he's Alan Holdsworth." At least I set him up, right? You can't say I didn't set the guy up because that was like such a cool. We could have worked it out. It could have been like a planned thing. It worked so well. So I didn't see that coming, and yet it all worked. Anyway, Moderator, can I get some sleep and some coffee?
Yeah, seriously, dude.
Yeah, really. Well,
I'll continue the hard work here. I'm
yeah,
going
I
to
appreciate
continue the
it.
hard work on the pedal here.
I know, and I meant a lot of what I said as far as the content of what I said, but I didn't have nefarious motives for saying it. I think you know that. I hope you do. It
Oh,
wasn't
yeah.
like I'm just trying to be a jerk, but at the same time, it was just stuff I feel and believe, and I was just saying my thing. So, okay,
All right, man.
and I love you, Matt.
All right. Love you too,
So,
man.
talk to
Take it
you
easy, buddy.
later. Rock and roll.
Bye.
Bye.